Ever wonder what happens when a neighborhood tyrant picks a fight with the wrong mailman? Let me tell you about the day Linda Carver, the queen of Willow Creek's HOA, learned that her rulebook didn't mean squat against federal law. It was a sunny morning in Willow Creek, a suburban maze of manicured lawns and beige houses, where I'd been delivering mail for 3 years. The air was crisp, birds were chirping, and I was halfway through my route when I heard the sharp clack of high-end sandals charging toward me like a storm. Before I could turn, a voice sliced through the quiet like a knife. "Stop right there! What do you think you're doing?" It was Linda Carver, the HOA president everyone whispered about, calling her Karen when she wasn't around. Her blonde bob gleamed under the sun, and her statement necklace screamed money, but her face was red with fury. I dealt with her before petty complaints about mailboxes or delivery times, but this was different. This was war. "Good morning, Mrs. Carver," I said, keeping my tone professional, like I'd practiced 100 times. "Just delivering today's mail." She scoffed, stepping closer, her eyes narrowing. "Oh, I don't think so." In a flash, she lunged forward and snatched a stack of envelopes from my hand. "These flyers violate Section 4.6 of our bylaws, unsolicited junk. And don't get me started on those shady packages going to the Thompsons all week." I stayed calm, but my pulse kicked up. "Ma'am, you need to hand those back. Interfering with mail is a federal crime." She waved the letters in my face, laughing like I'd told a joke. "Don't lecture me in my neighborhood. I'm the president of this HOA. I run things here." In the distance, sirens wailed, faint but getting closer. What Linda didn't know was that my boss had drilled into us. If anyone messes with the mail, call it in. And I had. This wasn't Linda's first stunt, but it was about to be her last. Willow Creek was the kind of place where the HOA rulebook was thicker than a Bible, dictating everything from the shade of your curtains to how tall your grass could grow 3 inches. Max Linda, a 50-something with a knack for power trips, had been ruling it all since she strong-armed her way into the presidency 3 years ago. She'd ousted the last guy by nitpicking his every move until he quit, and since then, she'd been on a crusade to protect property values. Fines for trash cans left out too early, warnings for flowers that weren't approved. Most folks just paid up to avoid her wrath. But lately, Linda had a new obsession: the mail. She'd been hounding me for weeks, grilling me about who got what, especially packages delivered to houses where people worked all day. "Something's fishy," she'd say, eyeing me like I was smuggling contraband. One day, she popped up by my truck, arms crossed. "The Gwins get way too many boxes from Asia. I bet they're running some illegal operation." I kept it polite. "They get care packages from family overseas, Mrs. Carver. Federal law protects their privacy, so I can't discuss it." That only made her more suspicious. I heard she'd been snapping photos of me on my route, even asking neighbors to show her their mail. A few caved, too scared to say no, and handed over personal letters for her to inspect. Things hit a boiling point 3 days ago on Elm Street. I was sorting mail when Linda's white SUV screeched up, blocking my truck like she was starring in an action movie. She stormed out in a navy blazer, sporting a homemade badge that read, "HOA Enforcement." "I kid you not. I need to see what you're delivering," she barked, loud enough for the whole street to hear. Curtains twitched as neighbors peeked out. "Mrs. Carver, I've told you before," I said, firm but steady. "Nobody can inspect mail that isn't theirs. It's against federal law." She waved a hand like she was swatting a fly. "HOA covenants trump your little mail rules. We ban certain materials here." I tried to step around her, but she blocked me, eyes blazing. "Show me what's in your bag, or I'm calling your boss." "Please do," I shot back, cool as ice. "They'll tell you the same thing. Now move your car so I can do my job." That's when she lost it. Her face twisted, and before I could react, she grabbed my satchel, ripped it open, and yanked out a handful of letters for the Thompsons and Limps. "Just as I thought," she crowed, waving them like a trophy. "Political junk. The Limps are with the wrong party, they can't get this propaganda here." A crowd was forming now, neighbors gawking as Linda rifled through private mail like it was her personal scrapbook. I pulled out my phone, dialed my Super VY then the non-emergency police line, making sure she heard every word. "I'm reporting mail tampering and obstruction at 421 Elm Street," I said loud and clear. Linda rolled her eyes. "Mail tampering? Don't be so dramatic. This is an official HOA investigation." My patience was hanging by a thread, but I kept it together. "Mrs. Carver, tampering with mail is a federal offense. Up to 5 years in prison and do lot $250,000 in fines. Give me those letters. Now." For a split second, doubt flickered in her eyes, but she doubled down. "That doesn't apply to HOA officials. I've been to seminars." By now, neighbors were filming, phones out, and Linda noticed. She turned to her audience, voice booming. "Everyone, I've caught this mailman sneaking illegal materials into our community. This is why your HOA fees matter." Most folks looked mortified, not for me, but for her. When I reached for the letters, she dodged, holding them behind her back like a kid playing keep away. "These are confiscated under Bylaw 7.3, she declared, as if that meant anything. Then the sirens got loud. 2 cars pulled UPA police cruiser and an unmarked sedan with government plates. Linda smirked, thinking backup had arrived for her. She was dead wrong. The local cop hung back as 2 federal postal inspectors stepped out, badges gleaming. "Ma'am, I'm Inspector Lopez, and this is Inspector Wu, United States Postal Inspection Service," the woman said, her tone all business. "We're responding to a report of mail tampering. Are you Linda Carver?" Linda's smug grin faltered, her face cycling through confusion to panic. "Yes, but this is a misunderstanding. I'm the HOA president, conducting an official inspection." Inspector Wu didn't blink. "Are those letters in your hand addressed to you?" Linda stammered. "Well, no, but did you take them from a postal carrier?" Lopez cut in. "Only because he wouldn't comply," Linda snapped. Wu's voice was steel. "You've just admitted to federal mail tampering under Title 18, Section 1703, and obstruction under Section 1701. These are serious crimes." The letters slipped from Linda's hands, fluttering to the ground. I scooped them up, tucking them safely back in my satchel. The crowd was buzzing now, phones still rolling. Linda's voice shook. "There's a mistake. I'm the HOA president. Our bylaws do not supersede federal law," Lopez said, sharp enough to cut glass. "No private organization can touch the U.S. mail. Your title means nothing here." The local cop stepped forward. "Mrs. Carver, hands behind your back." Her jaw dropped. "You're arresting me for enforcing HOA rules?" "No," the cop said. "You're under arrest for federal mail tampering and obstruction." The cuffs clicked on, and Linda's facade crumbled. "This is outrageous," she wailed as they led her to the cruiser. "Do you know how much we pay in taxes? I want your Super VY SOAR." The neighbors watched, stunned, as she was loaded into the car. Inspector Lopez read her rights, her voice calm but firm, explaining the federal charges. Linda's face went ghost white. I finished my route late, fielding questions from neighbors who were equal parts shocked and relieved. Some shared their own horror stories about Linda's rain fines for minor infractions, threats over mailbox colors. The Gwynns even slipped me some homemade spring rolls, a quiet thank you for standing up to her. 2 weeks later, I delivered a certified letter to Linda's house court papers. Word around the neighborhood was she'd lawyered up, but the EVY Denke was ironclad, especially with all those VY Deos and past complaints she'd intimidated folks into silence over. Linda pleaded guilty to lesser charges, but it still hit hard: a due law $25,000 fine, 3 years probation, and 500 hours sorting mail at the post office. Poetic justice, if you asked me. The HOA board didn't waste time. At an emergency meeting, they voted her out, citing her disreputable conduct. When the new president handed her the official notice, another letter I delivered, Linda lost it. "You can't do this," she shrieked, clutching her designer purse. I saw him solve this community. The president just smiled. Actually, your actions broke our bylaws. The vote was unanimous. And just like that, the Queen of Willow Creek fell. The neighborhood felt lighter after that, like a weight had lifted. Folks started levying their trash cans out a little early, and nobody got fined. Me? I just kept delivering the mail, same as always, but with a few extra smiles from the folks on my route.